Welcome, everybody, to today's Building My Legacy podcast. I have with me today two rather unusual women. It's not a combination we see very often, but it's an interesting one in terms of what it is that you do to become more resourceful so that you can reach a market in a more meaningful way. So I have with me Jamie Wolf, who is from South Carolina. She is president of $1 Million Story Agency. It's an agency that helps you tell your story so you can get it out to people and have people really understand what it is that you do. So she does that to help build brands, to build businesses, and to grow them. She also helps with publishing. She has a publishing company called Wolf Tide Publishing, and she helps published books become recognized on USA Today and the Wall Street Journal. Two fabulous accomplishments. And not only that, but she keeps them on those lists for as much as 12 months. That's even more amazing. And then we have with us also Angela Little. Angela, you are unbelievable. First of all, I see you with this beautiful long hair, and I think, how do you do that as a bodybuilder? Angela is a bodybuilder. She's done it competitively. She holds titles of the female overall European pro champion and European and British bikini bodybuilding champions. So she is also $1 Million Mastermind and works with Angela in getting their story out, working with entrepreneurial companies, and really helping people grow and develop their businesses and what it is that they want to do in life. So first of all, welcome to Building My Legacy podcast today, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Much appreciated, Lois.
You are so
Absolutely.
welcome.
Thank you.
And I want to know, how did the two of you, so different, get together?
We are so lucky that we're so different because we're sort of the yin and yang. And so the things that completely trip me up, Angela just flies right through, and vice versa. But we met at a ClickFunnels event, and together with two other friends that we've stayed dear friends with in the last, is it 3 years or 4 years now? I don't even know. 4 years. Wow. Yeah. And we're still speaking to each other.
I know.
Who knew? Angela, add to that, please.
Yeah. So we met at a business marketing event, and we are very different in lots of ways, but we are very similar in a lot of ways too. Like we have some same stories. We have, we're fierce, protectors of our children. We have this crazy entrepreneur brain that takes us all over the world, doing, amazing things. Like same as Jamie, I went to America. I got on a plane on my own, turned up a business event with 5,000 other people, just wanting to feel the energy in the room and to learn and grow. And we met each other. We were spontaneous enough to book a room, shared room, only 2 beds, and there was 4 girls, 2 American, 1 English, 1 Canadian. We all stuck in together, and we've been dear friends ever since. And me and Jamie connected. We are very different, so we have such a different skill set that it fits together so perfectly. And now we really, really trust each other. And we kind of, over the few years that we've been speaking to each other, we're always really looking for ways of working together. And Jamie had she's been doing in the books and the writing and the publishing company for a very, very long time. And then she was stuck in a little piece of the puzzle. And so we kind of brainstormed, we put it together, and then we're like, why don't we just try this? So last year we got into collaboration. I flew over to see her. We walked up and down these beaches. We put our plans into place. And since then, we've been running hard at it. And some things are definitely paying off. We're getting to meet some great people, make some amazing connections, do the things we love. I love working with entrepreneurs, helping them sort of unlock their potential, hear their stories, help Jamie get all their stories out into the world so that other people can learn and grow from reading their amazing stories. And funnily enough, some of the entrepreneurs, when you read their stories, they have a very similar pattern. So though we think we're all different in this business entrepreneur world, there's certain key things that send you on this path and on this journey. And we just love getting all of that out into the world. And we really, really enjoy that. And we have some amazing events coming up as well in our business. So I will stop talking now before I talk the whole time. Jamie, you talk.
So I have a question for the two of you. Do people come to you because they're entrepreneurs looking for help getting a business off the ground? Do they come to you because they're initially wanting help with brand? Do they know enough that that's what they need? And so that's what they come. How do people wake up one day and say, okay, I've got to go see Jamie Wolf and Angela Little?
So I think what we have discovered in the entrepreneurial world, and we were chatting about this just a little bit before we started this podcast, is the network and the community that's been built in the entrepreneurial world. We are a little bit different from our friends and neighbors and our family. We think a little bit differently. We're very, very solution oriented. And as we get to know each other and figure out how to collaborate together, we understand that we're a little stronger together collaborating with each other. So a lot of what business we have is word of mouth. We have published, we have helped people hit bestseller. So people say, you know, my brand is very strong, doing very well, but I'm not getting as many keynote speaker engagements as I want, or I'd like to have that Instagram blue verified check mark. And I understand if I become a published best-selling author, I can get that, or I'm looking to launch a new edition of the thing that I do. You know, I'm changing directions just a little bit. And I feel like a book would be a great distribution system, an evergreen lead magnet. It'll let me tell my stories and nurture people and turn them into more warmer audiences. And so in the community, a lot of times they'll just ask the question, hey, who do you know that could help me get a book done? And we're not the only ones by any means, but we've narrowed a niche to we specifically work with entrepreneurs who have offers. And that is the type of book that we put out. In many cases, we'll help people who don't like to write or don't feel confident in their writing, and we'll work with them so they don't have to write at all. And then again, the thing that we kept uncovering is who wouldn't want to listen to Angela? She's high energy, she's fun, she's positive, and she has the best accent in the world. And so, you know, people come and go, well, I'm not quite ready maybe for this level. Mindset is something that every single entrepreneur, it doesn't matter whether you're really far along in your path or you're just getting started, we all have those things that trip us up. And so mindset is crucial. And the fact that we can offer that together of here, let us help you with this portion. Again, it's, you know, people, you want people to come to you and then you want people to stay with you. And so we just got super lucky that we put that secret sauce together with the two of us.
It is amazing. And I think one of the things that is so hard is to keep a partnership vital and fresh, so that you are growing both in the same direction, because, you know, it's easy to kind of go like this after a while. So how is it that you come together and have learned how to work together effectively?
I think that we really trust each other now. And when you first start, you don't know, because you've all been, you know, you had certain things happen in your life that may make you second guess yourself. A lot of things that I've worked on in the past is learning to trust my instincts and learning to really, really know myself, what I'm good at, what I'm not so good at. And we always felt we were a good fit. We didn't know how it was going to go together. We knew that we wanted to try. Now we're very open with each other. There's nothing I don't say, and I don't believe Jamie is the same. You know, she'll tell me every day. We talk to each other all day, every day. And we thrash out things. We check with each other. We make sure we're on the same path. And if we're not sure of something, we'll ask for clarity. And we still do challenge each other, because there'll be certain things I might be a bit more apprehensive with, and there'll be certain things that Jamie will be more apprehensive with, and we'll just support each other. I feel like I've said this before, and some other entrepreneurs have said it as well. It's not who doesn't have fear. We all have the fear. It's who has most courage. So we give each other courage daily. We give each other courage. We catch each other if we fall, and we keep setting ourselves back on the same path together. And we discuss things that we want to do in the future. We work really hard where we are now, and it's working very well. And I cannot see, if we have a problem, we just talk about it and we face it. And that's how it works, definitely for me.
So, I'm going to add my 2 cents in that. I'm not speaking for Angela here, but I'm old. We both have kids. We've both been through partnerships that haven't lasted with our kids' fathers. We've been through ups and downs. Life has thrown hard stuff at both of us. And I think we've gotten to a place where ego doesn't matter at all. She will call me to the carpet, and she is blunt about it. And I could get upset, and I could get fearful, and I could go, well, here's what I think about you. And it's like, you are so right. Thank you. And I think the fact that both of us are way more interested in the outcome and the result, and in building a legacy for our families, and, generational wealth, and learning as much as we can, especially before the clock runs out, is how many years do we have left? And this pandemic has shown us that's not always a guarantee. So what I think is beautiful, and I'm very grateful for about this particular partnership. And I've had business partnerships before that have blown up in horrible ways with huge financial consequences. And I had been in a place for a long time of, I will never have a business partnership ever again, ever. And those stories are pretty common. And so I think what's great about Angela and I is we're sort of moms first. We care about our kids and our families. That gives us a lot of common ground. And we're kind of over all the BS, if I may. And we just want results. And if that means letting go of, because the fear comes out, and I'm going, and she's like, you're scared right now. Oh, you're right. Okay, that's what that's about. It's got nothing to do with you and me. It's my fear. And if I just let go of that, we can go back to doing what we were doing.
You know what? Fear is absolutely what creates more problems than we can ever begin to imagine, right? It makes us defensive. It makes us be aggressive. It makes us do or disappear sometimes. So the fact that you're able to just deal with it head on is incredible. And part of that has to come, Angela, from your bodybuilding experience. Because to be a good bodybuilder, I'm guessing you had to be very, very honest with yourself about how you were doing. So can you just share a little bit about that experience and what you've brought about that into what you're doing now?
Yeah. As Jamie touched on earlier, it's exactly like running a business. It's a series of consistency, habits, repetition, discipline, and doing the things that you might not want to do at that moment, but you have to do. So that's that kind of, it has all of those elements, and it's day in, day out, it ticking off the box, focus, consistency, discipline, doing everything that you're meant to do. And that's very similar to business and the skills that you need. And some of the things that are hard, you know, for entrepreneurs, focusing is really, really hard for entrepreneurs. But you have to really get to the bottom of why you're doing it. And so in all of the reasons, when people come to us, not necessarily on the established entrepreneurs, but the ones that are more at the beginning of their journey, you know, like, why are you doing this? What's the reason behind it? You know, it can be personal, it can be financial, it can be all of those things together, which it usually is a huge thing. And if you can lock that in, that self-worth, that self-belief, and you can lock in the reasons why, like the reason why I competed and all those kind of things, if you can lock the reason why you want this result so much that you can focus and move forward, find your worth, know your worth, trust your instincts, and also, I mean, with bodybuilding, you have to have a coach. You can't do it on your own. And that's very reflective of businesses. Like, we have mentors, we have coaches. I wouldn't be sat here telling someone to come into a coaching program with me if I didn't have a coach. You know, it's super important to have people, mentors that are a little bit further ahead of you, so they can clear the path for you, show you the way. And that's exactly the same as bodybuilding. I had a coach that had done the same, a prep coach, and they gave me all the information I needed, helped me get the results. And yeah, and it is knowing your worth and wanting that result. So
can I just ask you, what took you into bodybuilding to begin with?
It is funny, isn't it? Because I mean, I was a mum. I'd had 4 kids. I did this bodybuilding career after all of the children, and I was, I don't know, kind of, it took my, you know, when you've had 4 kids and your body's out of shape, I felt invisible, really invisible. And I felt I was getting older, getting overlooked. I wasn't doing all the things that I wanted to do business-wise. There was, and I just knew that if I made myself and gave myself the discipline of doing this, and putting myself completely out of my comfort zone, before I even stepped in a gym, I used to want to go to a gym, and I'd be sat outside in the car crying because I had no confidence about stepping into a gym. And then I went on eventually to do all this competing internationally and all over the world, and lots of photo shoots and things like that, and doing extremely well. But yeah, it was literally, I wanted to turn my life around, and it started physically. And that led to me going really, really deep into the psychology side of it, the health side of it, the you know, how your brain thinks, how you work internally. So it was a real combination of all of those things together. It's certainly not just a physical thing when you're on that stage. The people that are there, it's a mental game. It's the having the strength of character to be there and to do everything to get there. And that's kind of some of the things that I look in when I do my coaching. We look at some of the health side of it. We look at all of those elements. Like, I was very keen to get Jamie back in the gym because she used to be quite a gym bunny, and she had her own gym at one point. And I feel like if you can start your body working, you know, like as a machine, getting that clarity, it really helps unlock your potential, helps put your brain in the right place. And all those things are so intrinsically linked. The health side, the wellness side, the self-belief, and all of that is just completely all wrapped in one together.
So tell me now a little bit. I think that story is incredible, especially since you started it after 4 children. I had visions of this being in your very young years before children. So amazing piece that you've done. But tell me now, what's your process when somebody says, I want to work with Angela and Jamie? What is that process?
Angela, take it away again.
Okay. Okay. We do focus on two sides of the business. Like I said, we have the entrepreneurs at the beginning of the journey. Well, when I say the beginning, I don't mean right at the beginning, because as we know, what happens in the very beginning is you might be good at something. So you have this something, you finally found your genius zone. You're starting to work that offer. And you have this offer, and you might be working with some people. And then you realize that you don't earn enough income to be able to do this permanently. So you need to find clarity on how you're getting your message out to more people. So they would come to me, and we will put our system on this early entrepreneur that has an offer, is already doing what they're doing. They just need to be able to scale it. And what they need to do is get their message out to the world, scale their business, so that they can get more money in. So I help them see the value in their worth so that they can charge more money, so that they can help more people, basically. You know, there's some such amazing genius entrepreneurs out there helping, but because they were only working one-to-one with someone, they're not helping enough people. So we really help them scale their system so that they're bringing more money in, so they can help more people, contact with more people, and then they get that using their book then. So their book, people will see their book, read about them, and I need to work with this person. Now I know this person. I can see everything they do, what they're all about. I want to work with this person in their genius zone. And so that's the clarity of the book. And I help them put the clarity of the course together so they know their worth, whilst creating a good enough system so it is worth the extra high value.
So I'm a process person. I'm going to jump in for just a second because I like to live in the weeds. Thank heavens for Angela that she's way up here. So when someone comes into our world and they want this mastermind and they want the end result of having a good, solid, high ticket offer that they can charge a lot more so that their ROI goes up quickly, their revenue goes up, and they can understand the benefit of having a book as raising their authority and their credibility and their brand. We get together with a one-on-one with them for about 90 minutes. And we say, okay, what is the one big promise that you offer to your clients and your customers? Great. That one big overarching goal is going to be the title of the book. Now, assuming that they're not there yet, that's why they're coming to you. Where would they start? And what would be the milestones that they would need to hit along the way? Because obviously they're not going to jump from here to here. So they've got to take some steps. What are those steps? Cool beans. Those are, had to say that, Angela. Those are the chapter titles, right? So within the chapter, then we're going to break down, why is that step important? Let's put some context to it so that they're not just going to take your word for it. They're going to really understand why that thing is important for them to do first. Then let's show them what happens when they've done that, teach a little bit, give some case studies and some success stories. And then we do that iteratively. Okay, what's the next step? What's the next? What's the next? What's the next? And in the process, you have tremendous clarity. You now know what one big result, very clear, that your people will get when they work with you. You have now just elevated what you can charge for your course. It's so clear. It's so compelling. People want it. They want to work with you. You've just designed the whole entire thing. It's all very logical and organized. And oh, by the way, at the same time that you crafted your high ticket offer, you just crafted your book. We put it all together. Now you've got your funnel. What do you need in a funnel? You need a free lead magnet. Well, you've got your ebook for that. What else do you want? How about a free plus shipping book offer? What do you want for your bump to help cover some of your ad costs? Oh, an audiobook would be good. Check, got that. And then we get through the front end of the funnel and you go to the back end where they're booking an appointment and they're getting your high ticket offer. The whole thing is done. And it's got a deliverable date. So this doesn't stretch on for years and years and years because nobody can afford to have it go on that long. So that is the nitty gritty at a quick high level overview of what we actually do when someone comes to work with us.
Well, what's interesting is the length of your process for writing a book is quite short. It's remarkably short. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, what was it, 120 days to write your book, or was it less than that?
So, two answers to that question. When people come to us for the done for you agency side, we don't even make people write, so we can go even faster. So for the super high level person who has more money than time, and they are just looking for efficiencies, we can work with their assistants, we can give them questions, we can record their answers, transcribe it, and use a hybrid ghostwriter, not starting from scratch, but starting from the entrepreneur's words. Or we give a framework and their assistant just goes and pulls existing content. And we put it all together, use our hybrid ghostwriters, give it back to them and say, is this what you want? Every single chapter or book has to have an offer. That is the one thing that we really focus on, because we want people coming into your world where you're collecting email addresses and nurturing them that way. We want to make sure there is strong ROI for the book. So when we're working in the done for you agency side, we go really fast because we don't have to make anyone write. And they really appreciate that. With less than 10 hours of their own invested time and effort, they can have a book or be in a chapter in an anthology. For the people that are working in our mastermind group, Angela is good at coaxing people along, encouraging people, praising people, and that goes a very long way. But we also have a very super specific process, again, where we're going to walk them through the outline and then show them different ways to get to the end result. Writing, the actual writing, does not have to be the barrier for anyone who wants a book. There's so many different ways to get that content out or to work with existing content. And that's why we go fast. And it's so crucial to go fast because entrepreneurs are agile. The market is changing, the needs are changing, and they want to be able to respond quickly. So this concept of taking 6, 12, 18 months to get a book out to market is just not acceptable. It isn't in our world. Not that I have an opinion.
It's true. I mean, entrepreneurs especially have no patience. Whatever idea they had today, they figure it should have been executed 2 weeks ago, right? And the result should be today. So it is one of the difficulties that entrepreneurs have in terms of really getting to that end result that they want. So tell us a little bit in terms, you have this process, you have people coming, and as they go through the mastermind, I'm guessing that's when they discover they have this story they want to share in the form of a book. And so then is that a separate process, or do you begin to work on the book while you're in that mastermind, working with the two of you?
No, it's completely combined. It's completely combined. You wouldn't know. You're gaining complete clarity on your course. And this book is coming together as you go. You, like Jamie said, the overall goal is the name. Like your overarching what they need to be able to do is the title of the book, and then we kind of work backwards like that. So, and in week 1, you'll have this to do. Week 2, you have this to do. And then we will help you along the way of putting this all together so that it's not a complicated process. You wouldn't realize that you're actually doing a whole book and all of your course together as well.
Amazing.
The reason it happened, the whole idea for the mastermind was that Jamie was working with a lot of entrepreneurs, and they were coming in and they were wanting to write a book. So that was their original goal. But they were gaining such clarity in the course that they wanted to put out to the world, that it was becoming, like just a huge thing, that they were actually noticing, oh my God, I've got no doubts in what I'm doing. I've got absolute beautiful clarity in what I've written here. And it all makes sense. So that's how we had the whole idea of putting the mastermind together. So because they really fit beautifully together, you don't know you're doing that. You're coming in, we're setting you as there's your structure for the week. That's what you're doing. And then I help them along the way with some, we go in and we do sort of like, we'll have training schedule. So we'll go in, we'll do some mindset work, or we'll do some belief works. And then sometimes we go in and we do some questions and answers each week. And when any technical questions or anything else, we just work through all their questions. And then they have a structure and a format to follow, so that they end up with their high ticket offer completed, and they know exactly what they're doing, what they're selling, and how they're going to sell it. And then at the end of that, they have all the book as well. And like Jamie said, all the assets to go with it, so that they can come straight out of the mastermind, straight into promoting the book and gaining customers in straight away, which we want them to do. And we want to do that within, 3 to 4 months, straight away.
It's amazing. How many people do you generally have in a mastermind group?
And the Mastermind Group is a very new thing for us. We've been doing it quite a while, but we've set a new format on it, and it is brand new. We're doing a beta launch, and that is happening now. So what we did last year was we kind of figured out what we wanted to get from this. Even though we've been trialing it with quite a few people, this is the format that we've come up with, and now this is what we're doing. We're actually excited because we're actually launching this as a completely separate thing.
Just to give you an example, because I think sometimes people think maybe this is just for you if you're already an online coach, and that's the only sort of person. We have worked with a woman who's in law enforcement data analysis. Like, whew, that sounds dry. But, she goes around the world teaching, and there is value in the coursework and content that she's put together. Because when you think about it, crime prevention is all about knowing and understanding the data. And you can imagine some poor number cruncher who's not really very appreciated. And yet it's a critical skill set. And every department in every type of law enforcement agency needs that, or even in the different agencies with the EMTs or the firemen or things like that. So super essential.
Even in her group, though, she has so many elements of mindset, doesn't she, about and help that way.
Absolutely. And then there's another woman that we're working with who helps startup companies who are taking millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars of investment to get medical devices through the FDA process. We've worked with people who are getting government contracts to pave roads, or getting government contracts to do other minority-owned or women-owned businesses. So it is not just for something that is in one narrow lane. It really is for any business owner, entrepreneur who wants to then take their expertise and get it out into the world in a more consistent, predictable package form.
It's amazing. You know what, this has really been very, very fascinating. And what's interesting is that it can work for anybody, because I think we tend to have notions that, well, that's for a person who has this kind of background or is in this kind of industry, right? But a story is a story, and a story is what sells no matter what. So what a wonderful gift the two of you bring to people. What have we left out that you want the audience to know about, that we should have talked about, or we left unfinished?
I am super passionate about this one thing. Thank you for asking that. People think, oh, I wrote a book, I don't need to write another one. Wrong. Please keep telling your stories over and over and over. If you look at the large gurus, my favorite example is Jack Canfield. We all know of Jack Canfield and Chicken Soup for the Soul series. That individual is responsible for 500 million books getting published, but he himself has co-authored over 200 books. So stories don't stop. Living doesn't stop. Inspiring other people with your stories doesn't stop. So if you have the thought of, I wrote a book, I can check it off, I never have to do it again. If you really hated it, I get that. But if you just think it's not a useful business tool, to write a second, third, fourth one, or to partner and collaborate and co-author with other people, I invite you to rethink that. And the second thing I invite you to rethink is this idea of co-authoring. Sometimes people feel they'll get lost in the noise, or, it just doesn't feel like it's as important. The way to flip that and understand is, if you are together with 9 other amazing human beings who have big businesses and big audiences, and they are edifying you, going, look, this is my co-author. I think you should listen to her and see what she has to say. And suddenly you get to go out to all the other audiences. So if you had 1,000 people in your audience and 9 co-authors, you are now talking to 10,000 people without a single extra penny of ad spend or effort or time. And then there's opportunities to JV and affiliate offers. So co-authoring is fantastic. Writing more than one book is fantastic. And those are my 2 little pet peeves when I hear people feel resistance, only because they don't understand what an amazing opportunity it is.
Yeah, definitely.
And for you, Angela, last thoughts that you want to share?
I think, I did definitely wanted to touch on what Jamie said then about the co-authoring, because, we really, crave human connection, and the co-authoring side of it is such a positive a feel to it. And also with the stories and the books and the things that we do, it is about connecting with another human and understanding that, we all have value and helping people. So that's it basically. Definitely networking. Me and Jamie have talked about this a lot, and we talk about, I know that, like we're in 2 different countries, but we talk about, that networking and how we can all come together and partner up with each other, partnership marketing. And that's what we're really, really, really doing in a lot of our space with the anthologies, with the co-author side of it is a big thing for us as well.
Got it. You 2 are just delightful. Thank you so much for being with us today on Building My Legacy podcast. And for those of you who are listening to us today, thank you for being with us. And we will have information about Angela and Jamie in the show notes. So you will be able to get a hold of them if you've got this brilliant, passionate idea that you have had burning within you. This is an opportunity that you have to get it out and to share it with the world. So thanks so much to everyone today.
Thank you.
Lois, thank you.
Thank you so much for having us on your show.
Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell button above. Leave comments. We'd love to hear what you think. And visit our other social media links as well. Thanks much.